Hello, so here is a quick demo on how to get Slick Slide working. I've got two different options here. There's like a big carousel and then there's like a multi-image thing. So what you need is, let me see if I can find the, so you need to download Slick, and let's see, I'm going to put it in here, the zip, so you'll have it there. It's on the home page. Dun, dun, dun. This one, Slick. You just go to the Get It Now, and it'll give you that zip. There's like do the download one. So inside the zip, let's just open it up so we can take a look. You will find a folder called Slick 1.8.1, and inside there's a Slick folder which has kind of all the stuff. So what I would recommend is just dragging this out of the Slick 181 folder into your main folder like I've done here. So there's this Slick directory, and inside it, it's got everything that you need. So I'm just going to delete that. The zip will still be in there. And so here's my Slick folder. The things that are most important are slicktheme.css and slick.css and Slick.js. I would actually use Slickmin. This is the same as Slick.js, it's just a smaller, they've compressed the code and stuff. Okay, so those are the pieces. Let's go to the code. So here's my index page. So wait, that's not the right index page. Slick index. So I'm importing slick.css and Slick theme. And so see, it's in a Slick folder, so it's slick/slick-theme.css. And then at the bottom is where I'm importing the JavaScript. So make sure you have jQuery, you're going to need that. And then you need to import the slick/slick.min.js. And then I have my specific Slick code in script.js. And then let's look at my CSS file. I just have a little bit of code for my slider. I wanted it to be in a box. For the top demo, it's in a box that's only 60% wide. It's centered using margin auto with a little bit of padding. And then I just put a border around it so it was more visible. This I'll talk a little bit about. You can have basically any content you want. So let's say you want to have text on one side and image on another side of each of those big big carousel images. You could do display grid there, and then all right, let's get rid of this. Sorry, it's down here. I've got it commented out right now. And then I've got Slick content. I've just given the text a little bit of margin left. And let's see, this is the second slide. So I'm just sort of like modifying things, and I'll talk about how to modify that. So there's the CSS. Let's look at the script. So I'm just going to talk about this one. This is for the multiple images, and this one I think is interesting because it has a bunch of responsive sections as well. So it has a breakpoint for 1024, 600, and 480. So this would be your mobile. This would be getting close to tablet, and this would be for desktop. And it's actually like desktop first, so this is sort of the main one for desktop view. You can totally change these breakpoints to whatever you want, but what this is basically doing is I've turned off those dots for this one. The dots are the sort of navigation dots. It's set to just loop infinitely. I could have it just go through once, and then it would, if I change that to false, it would just stop after one. The speed is 3 milliseconds per slide. I'm going to show 4 slides at a time, and I'm going to scroll 1 at a time. So I could show 4 and scroll 4, so it would be like 4, and then a whole new set, and then a whole new set. It will automatically start playing because this is set to true. and the autoplay speed is 2.5 seconds. So this must be the transition speed, actually. Okay, so then it's a little different for 1024. I changed it down 3 slides instead of 4, and then this one changed it down to 2 slides, and then 1 slide. So let's take a look at how that's working. So ignore the top one because I'm just talking about the bottom now. I'll just see if I can move it up without. There we go. Okay, so just looking at cats. So here's my cats, 4 at a time. And then if I shrink this down, then see it moves down to 3 cats at a time. And then eventually goes down to 2 cats. And then, oh, I can't get my browser any smaller, but if I had the responsive mode, if I inspect and then say, give me iPhone 5, it'll only show 1 cat. Or not, because responsive mode is not behaving. Okay, so there is that. So that is the bottom one, and now let's talk about that carousel up here. So for the carousel, we've got an image and a bunch of text. And let's say you want to have like half image, half text. What you can do is, and how I found this was I inspected this and I looked for basically the content. So there's the image. So I realized I had to put these 2 things in divs, and then I needed to find the parent of them so that I could target them as grid. And this was kind of the tricky part because this is auto-generating from JavaScript. But I was able to figure out that it's slide content, Slick slide. And so I went into the CSS and made this style. So I guess I found Slick initialized, Slick slide. Slick. This thing moves around so much that it's kind of hard to find. Slick slide, div. Slick initialized. Oh yeah, so somehow I found this. It was sort of dug around for a while. Anyhow, so if I change this to display grid, and then I give it grid template columns of 1 FR, then suddenly I get this like half and half. You could also kind of dig in and figure out if you wanted it to be like flush. There's like a little bit of padding there. I could get rid of that padding. I could change the, it's getting a width of 768. I could override that width. But yeah, so there you go. There's that margin 8 on the Slick slide. Okay, so I'll show you in HTML how I set that up. So for here, I've got slide content, and then I've got a div for the image and a div for all the content. And then these you could just go in and like change the styles if you wanted. You could give this a class of like equals image content. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. I think the big parts are when you're doing the HTML, you have to make sure, whoops, wrong one again, that your style is after both of the Slick styles, because you want to be able to override those styles. So the way HTML loads in the browser, it's very linear, it loads top down, so yours has got to be last. And the same thing goes for here. First you've got to load jQuery so that it's available to Slick slide. Then you've got to load Slick slide, and then you've got to load your own script. Okay. display. Yeah, and there's tons of documentation. So if you look at the site, the best place to find documentation, let's see, is settings. So everything that you can kind of add is here. So I could set arrows to true. Append arrows, change where the navigation arrows are attached. So I could like add my own arrows there. I could add my own dots, all kinds of stuff. There's easing, so there's like animation easing that you can add. Yeah, so if you just go to the settings page, you can literally just start adding all of these. So like, let's see. Oh, they have a draggable one. Enable mouse dragging. Let's try it out. So I'll do it on the carousel one. Oh, it looks like I already have it set. So let's undo the dragging. So if I go to the JavaScript, so this one is single slide. And then make sure that you have commas after each one of these, except for the last one. So dragging, I'm going to say false. Oops. Let's make sure that I have that right. Draggable. Got it wrong. Draggable. False. Okay, let's give it a try. So, Slick Demo. Come on, reload. Oh, yeah. So the, I just did the display grid in Element. Doesn't seem like it changed anything, did it? Let's make sure. So this one is single slide, script, single slide, draggable, false. I wonder if it just didn't load. So one good way to test this is to use an incognito window, and then that way you don't have to worry about the JavaScript caching. So let's give this a try. Yeah, draggable false apparently doesn't work. Okay, fun times. Let's see, it's working down here too. Okay, well, I have no idea why draggable is not working. But hopefully the rest of their things actually do work on their site. Draggable, Boolean, true, enable mouse dragging. Okay, okay, I'm gonna stop talking. 12 minutes, yikes. Okay, thanks.